Hello and good evening. Welcome to Council of African Professionals virtual event. We welcome you to the final day of our International Women's week-long series, Unshakeable, Women, What, and Wellbeing in a Pressured World. My name is Edosa Adams-Idode. I will share a little bit more about myself when the conversation starts. But to kick us off, we're going to start with the anthem, and I will request our volunteer to please play the anthem. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now I'll call on Orafe Oluwademeji, a volunteer with CAP, to read the land acknowledgement in English. Please go ahead.
Thank you. The Council of African Professionals acknowledges that our office in Burlington is situated upon the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississauga, the curated, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. We recognize that Burlington is covered by the Treaty 14, also known as the Head of the Lake Purchase. As an organization dedicated to the excellence and advancement of African diaspora, we recognize the deep parallels between the displacement of indigenous peoples and the forced migration and systemic exclusion faced by Black communities. We honor the enduring presence of all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and we value the spiritual and cultural connections to this land. We also celebrate the long-standing history of Black Canadians whose presence in Ontario dates back centuries. From the early settlers and the freedom seekers who found refuge in this region to the modern professionals of the African diaspora, Black Canadians have been integral to the economic and social fabric of Burlington and beyond. CAP commits to the ongoing work of reconciliation and equity. We strive to build a professional future that honors the land we occupy and supports the prosperity of both Indigenous and Black communities through solidarity, justice, and mutual respect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And on that note, it is my pleasure to also welcome David Michelea to read the land acknowledgement in French. Please go ahead.
Le Conseil des professionnels africains reconnaît que notre bureau de Burlington est situé sur le territoire traditionnel de nombreuses nations, notamment les Mississaugas de Credit, les Anishinaabes, les Chippewas, les Haudenosaunee et les Wendat. Nous reconnaissons que Burlington est régi par le traité 14, égal connu sous le nom d'achat de la tête du lac. En tant qu'organisation vouée à l'excellence et à l'avancement de la diaspora africaine, nous reconnaissons les parallèles profonds entre le déplacement des peuples autochtones et la migration forcée, ainsi que l'exclusion systémique auquel les communautés noires ont été confrontées. Nous honorons la présence durable de tous les peuples de Premières Nations, des Métis et des Inuits, et nous valorisons leurs liens spirituels et culturels avec cette terre. Nous célébrons également l'histoire de longue date des Canadiens noirs, dont la présence en Ontario remonte à plusieurs siècles. Des premiers colons et chercheurs de liberté qui ont trouvé refuge dans cette région jusqu'aux professionnels modernes de la diaspora africaine. Les Canadiens noirs ont fait partie intégrante du tissu économique et social de Burlington et derrière. Le CPS s'engage dans le travail continu de réconciliation et d'équité. Nous nous efforçons de bâtir un avenir professionnel qui honore la terre que nous occupons et soutient la prospérité des communautés autochtones et noires par la solidarité, la justice et le respect mutuel. Merci.
Thank you so very much, David. David also is a volunteer with CAP for years now. And we're super, super proud and happy to have you. So as we continue, I'll just quickly share the agenda. We've done the anthem, the land acknowledgement in English and French. We're gonna do welcome and introduction about CAP and upcoming events, introduction of the speaker. The speaker today is Ms. Edosa Adams-Idode, and it will be more of a chat, and then we'll go into Q&A and closing remarks. Now, to do the introduction about CAP, it's my pleasure to call Ms. Dianye Meshlea. Please go ahead. Ms. Meshlea, are you there?
Yes, I am. Just a second.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
About CAP. So Council of African Professionals was instituted to equip and support people of African heritage for sustainable growth, development, and prosperity in Canada. They were also instituted to promote holistic well-being of individuals, marriages, and families through programs and services. It enhances leadership, career, business, and professional development of members and the wider community. It provides mentorship, resources, and support for new immigrants, international students, and emerging professionals. Other offerings that we provide is training on wealth management and financial empowerment to foster economic growth. We also develop programs for children and youth, showcasing role models and building future leaders. We create platforms for networking, information sharing, and professional relationships to strengthen community ties. Council of African Professionals fosters integration and multicultural understanding while supporting local businesses and promoting social, economic, and political empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And like I said, we're here today for the final day. It's been a week-long event for International Women's Day. And the theme is Unshakeable Women, What, and Wellbeing in a Pressured World. Our speaker today is Ms. Edosa Adams-Idode. But before I go into the introduction, I do want to talk about every other thing first so that we'll have time to talk about who she is and for her to lend her voice to all the questions that we have. Our first day started on the day itself, May the 8th, and we had Ms. Valerie Johnson join us. The next day, which was a Monday, Ms. Bida Simpson was our guest. On Tuesday, we had Dr. Paige Hafanu. Wednesday, we had Ms. Christine Eroku. And Thursday, we had Ms. Abby Adekito. And yesterday, we had Ms. Oluwabumi Bosede. I've had the pleasure of hosting some of this event, and so has my counterpart, Ms. Denye Meshelair. And tomorrow, we never stop because we know that community never sleeps. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about taxes. Have you done your taxes? If you have not done your taxes, this is an opportunity for you to learn some tips and tricks on how to maximize your 2026 refund. Technical, please, somebody wants to join. Can you bring them in? Thank you. Today I was actually talking to a few people and they were talking about language schools. So we do have languages coming up. It's starting March the 28th. It's for 30 minutes a week. 30 minutes a week. It's going to run for 4 months. We saw how David was speaking in French today. Wouldn't you want your word to speak like that? We have French classes. We have Igbo class. We have Yoruba. And of course, we have Mandarin. Join us. 30 minutes a week for the next 4 months, starting March 28th. Mandarin is the only one that starts April 18th. We have the Black History essay writing competition coming up in St. John, New Brunswick, and in Milton, Ontario. For the St. John, we're still accepting essays. So if you have any word in these categories, age 15 to 18, 19 to 24, 25 to 30, please encourage them to take part of it. The event will take place in St. John on the 9th of May. And the one for Milton will take place on June 20th. And the one for Milton, our keynote speaker confirmed is Ms. Nosa Ero-Brown. She's the Deputy Minister for Immigration, for citizenship and multiculturalism in Ontario. You don't want to miss it. And of course, we have a youth who is doing a lot of great things. Is the founder of nonprofit and also an author. Olale Kondiyomi is our guest speaker. Coming soon, we're going to have CAP mentoring cohort Uno. If you're interested to be a mentor or mentee, please email us at capprofessionals.org@gmail.com. And now we just want to quickly do a shout out to our businesses because we do a lot and we have a lot of overhead and money is limited, but these businesses, they ensure that our lights are up. And one of such businesses is SDA Business Solutions. I just talked about taxes. If you've not done your taxes, they can help you do your taxes. If you're looking to incorporate your business, you're looking for bookkeeping, HR, payroll services, they will help you. Reach out to them. Are you looking to get your personal picture, business photography, whatever it is, those, amazing moments, milestones, Pixel is your guy. Tomilola Ogundipe is an independent insurance advisor. She can advise you around life insurance, critical illness, disability, and many more. Unique Designs. Are you looking for premium products? People give gifts, but you want to give gifts that people will actually use. Unique Design has premium quality products that you can give. Their website is uniquedesigns.ca. This book will really make you look at life differently. Authenticity, How My Whammy Moment. You can get it in Amazon. Are you looking to do a website? Amazing Minds, Shade at amazingminds.ca can work with you with any budget. I keep saying the same thing. What can we do without the power of prayer? We appreciate Archbishop Prof. Osazo Williams for his continued support of CAP, the Alkeon Days International Church. We're really, really grateful. This is a studio where I support women, youth, and new immigrants. There are a lot of items that you can leverage to be the best version of yourself. And of course, our supporters, they've supported us before. We want them to continue to support us. And so BPTN, RBC Royal Bank, Canadian Race Relations Foundation. And there's so many nonprofits that do amazing things that we work together because we can't work in silos. We need other people to support us. Alliance Creative Community Event. Special shout out to His Royal Highness King Nanayo Osam I, African Caribbean Council of Alton, Grandmothers Voices. This is an indigenous organization. Seas Center. This is a Chinese organization. The Care Foundation. They care for caregivers. Black Business Edmonton, United Colors of Fashion, New Brunswick, Akau, Ottawa, and Nairobi. Now, if you've heard about Power of Inclusion, then you really want to listen to this. Our Power of Inclusion is changing name and is becoming the Platform Canada. And in 2026, we're going to have that event December 11th and 12th. If you know of anyone who is a voice that shaped change, we want to hear from them. We want them to be one of our speakers. So share details with them, just email us. And of course, there's so many people doing amazing things in the community, and we want to continue to appreciate them so that they can continue to do what they do best. So if you know anyone that you would like to nominate, please reach out to us so that we can appreciate them on a grand style. And again, this is our details, our website, capngo.ca, our email, capprofessionals.org@gmail.com, and of course, newsletter. This is where we share all upcoming events before anybody knows about it. So if you're interested in learning more about us, I highly recommend that you actually sign on to our newsletter. I'm going to stop sharing now and focus on why we're here to talk about International Women's Day. So before I introduce our speaker for today, I would just like to do a little bit of introduction of myself. So my name is Edosa Adams-Idode. I'm the current president of CAP. Educationally, I studied in Nigeria and Canada, BSc, BBA, and minor in human resources, EMBA, professional qualifications, and career. I worked in Nigeria and Canada. I retired last year as a senior leader in RBC. Board experience, I was past president of Rotary Club of Milton, African Caribbean Council of Alton, CMP, and currently CAP. What do I do currently? I'm into consulting, into board governance, strategic planning. I'm a script writer, a mentor. I'm a published author and serial entrepreneur. I was born a princess of Oyo Empire, honored as a queen mother of Bantakpa Nana Akosua Nkwotuemo I by the Gomo Ojobi traditional area people, but nominated by His Royal Highness Nana Yo Osam I and installed by Nana Atta Kakra IV. I currently, as you know, live in Canada. That is a bit about me. Now, I will bring our guests to the virtual stage. Who is our guest? Our guest is none other than Miss Edosa Adams-Idode. Miss Edosa Adams-Idode is founder of the Disclosure Clinic, an innovative legal service offered by Adams-Idode Law Professional Corporation and designed to support many individuals struggling navigating Ontario's court online system in a post-COVID environment. As a trial, family, and child protection lawyer, she was appointed as a dispute resolution officer, DRO, for the Ministry of Attorney General, where she presides at the initial stage of family law cases as a senior family lawyer for the Superior Court of Justice in Kitchener, London, St. Catherine, and Toronto. As a firm believer in volunteerism and mentorship, she is an ardent presenter at the Mandatory Information Program, MIP, at the Brampton Courthouse, training lawyers in family and child protection mentorship group sessions for the Alton County Law Association, HCLA, and hosts webinar on domestic violence across Ontario to educate the community that family violence affects us all. An art curator for Associations of Nigerian Community in Milton, and currently president of African Caribbean Council of Alton ACCA, to name a few nonprofit organizations that she oversees. It is my utmost pleasure to welcome to the virtual stage Miss Edosa Adams-Idode. Please, our emojis are free. Please welcome this amazing woman to the virtual stage.
Thank you, Lady Abba, for that warm introduction. And thank you, CAP. Thank you, our guests today. Thank you to all the amazing speakers for the International Women's Day flagship program 2026.
Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I know that I've read, because I know it's just a bit of your bio, right? Once you say something, you're going to remember, oh my God, I do this. Oh, I do this. I do this. And how do we put it all together? But news flash for everybody that does not know, I actually came into this world as a twin. She came years after me, but she's my twin sister. So, is there anything else you will want us to know more about you?
Oh my gosh. Yes, we're actually twin sisters from another mother, but we're twin sisters. So it's my delight to be here today. Melaine Hay, my church sister is here as well. Miss Simpson, you had a fantastic program the other day. I'm so delighted to be here to share in this amazing inside journey of International Women's Day, as well as to talk about the unshakable woman worth and well-being in a pressured world. I think the topic for International Women's Day, Give and Gain, does not do much to the unshakable role of women in our world, in our society, and to all the amazing mothers all over the world at large. About me, just quickly say, so I grew up in a family of 9 girls. So I grew up in a family of lots of women. We're 11 and I'm number 5 of the 9 girls. So I'm just hindsight thinking God wanted to balance me in the midst of 11 siblings. So I'm the balancer, I would say that. It's so akin that being the balancer in my family. I grew up in Benin City, Nigeria, to be precise. Amazing father I had. I know it's International Women's Day, but I have to give kudos to my father because his role in my life is part of who I am today in terms of my work, professionally, in terms of my faith, spiritually, and in terms of how I perceive the world around me, generally speaking. And my love for studying or reading, my love for books, my love for creativity, my love for getting to just help each and every one of us be the best version of who God called us to be. So that's my upbringing, going to school in Nigeria, completing my education there, moving to Canada, meeting my spouse in Canada, and then just starting the journey of law practice. So initially, I did not start school in terms of university in law. I studied in English. So I decided to transition from English and linguistics to law in my 3rd level of English, which is ridiculous, but I did that. And I'm not regretting it. But hindsight, just talking about women now, let's kind of go back a little bit. I used to love to bake. And when I mean bake, it was just a natural thing for me to bake. And it became a business as a young person, as a young girl. But I think in the 80s, culinary skills was not something that most Nigerian parents would see as a career. And so even though I was baking and I loved it and I could, design and all of that it was just a natural skill that I had. I didn't pursue it, and I decided to pursue law because there's something about justice, equity, and fairness that resonates deep within the core of my soul that I think drew me to law practice, drew me to women's reproductive health rights, drew me to the abolition of female genital mutilation, which we call circumcision in Nigeria. I mean, all of those advocacy I did in Nigeria, and I was so delighted that even in advocating for FGM, which is female genital mutilation, a lot of people, my peers, who had no clue about what that meant, they were able to understand the impact of it. I looked at it from the jurisprudence of it. I looked at it from the spiritual aspect. I looked at it from the cultural aspect. And I even questioned my mom, who's my role model as a woman, on that cultural practice. So the bottom line is advocacy has always been the core center of who I've been and who I am. And it's apt that we're celebrating International Women's Day. I want to just shout out to all the women. And if I could, Madam Moderator, just share a quick poem about a Women's Day that I think I wanted to express today as a salute to the women around us. And the title of this poem is "The Voices of Men is the Power of One Woman." And if it's okay with you, I would share the poem. So this poem is a celebration of International Women's Day. And I said, when I think of International Women's Day, I believe it's important to recognize and honor every woman whose past, present, and future lays the key to great nations and to the world at large. International Women's Day to me represents every woman that wakes up every morning to make sure that her children have food on the table, or to make sure that her children have the best God has given to them. I celebrate International Women's Day, and to the many women in our villages who wake up so early in the morning to go to the farm with a baby on their back. This is for you. And of course, to my mother, I salute you. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. I see my friends from Manitoba here. Shout out to Mercy Waboy from Manitoba. Thank you for joining on such a short notice. But it is important that we continue to use this platform. And to the Council of African Professionals, I just want to give out a big shout to your vision, because for 7 days you were on the roll to talk about the unshakable power of women. And I think not many organizations would do this, and I applaud you, and I just pray that you continue to be strengthened to uplift and amplify the voices of many women around us. Thank you, CAP. Thank you so much for this program. So as a woman myself, thank you so much for the handshakes. Thank you for the virtual salutes. As a woman myself, I think I live by 3 core values. And I talked about my upbringing: advocacy, empowerment, and strengthening community relationships. Those core values formulate part of my existence, part of my outlook in life, and part of what I do on a day-to-day basis. And if I may just comment very briefly on advocacy, as I said, it's part of who am I, in terms of how I have been structured, in terms of my family dynamics, being in the middle of a bunch of 5 people back and forth. So advocacy means a lot to me, and that's why I am in support of programs that advocate for the good access to justice and social reforms. Empowerment for me is the belief of legacy and change. And empowerment, you can only empower people, or you can only empower yourself if you are open to change, if you're open to see others' views and their perspective, and you're open to the belief that as we uplift and inspire each other, because all the women who spoke throughout this week, I didn't listen to all of them, but even yesterday I was just so inspired. That's empowerment. And then strengthening community relationship to me is a big deal. And the big deal for me is that when communities dialogue, when we dialogue in forums like this or in other spheres of your influence, we create a healthy, inclusive connection. And that's why this dialogue is so important, because as we continue to create a healthy and inclusive dialogue, we're able to sustain meaningful relationships, we're able to share our purpose and of course our mutual interests and care. So just as a roundup, that's more of who I am. I like to advocate, I love to empower, and of course strengthen community relationships. Thank you.
Wow, that is powerful, isn't it? Please, let's appreciate this woman of timber and caliber, as I call her. Thank you for sharing. I know you've alluded to it. By the way, you did appreciate CAP, but CAP really can only do so much. Without people like you, without people like all our speakers, we can't do what we do, because everybody that's spoken volunteered their time. They could be doing something else, but they gave their time so that we can learn from each other. So thank you too. And to all our speakers and to all our volunteers, people that continue to make us who we are. Thank you for what you do. Now, you already alluded to this next question. I wanted to know what you think about the theme. Now, the theme, Unshakeable, Women, What, and Wellbeing in a Pressured World. And I also want you to, think about the global theme, Give to Gain. What are your thoughts around this? How do you unpack these two themes together or separately?
Thank you so much. So once again, the theme is so incredibly important, because unshakable women, worth, and well-being in a pressured world. It really speaks to me, because having pressure and world together are just two very powerful words to put together. But I look at that theme and I realize that we're talking about women performing in all aspects of our life, women performing in a world of AI, in a world of social media, in a world of balancing your work life and your personal life. And of course, in a world of who are you as a woman. So for me, when I look at that theme and I want to apply that theme to myself, I look at first of all, I need to understand who am I as a woman. My faith in Christ, my faith in God is grounded. And once I'm firm in my faith in God and being grounded, I'm able to share that to the world based on the gifts and the talents that I have. And one of that, I would say, in my background screen, you see ACCH, right? ACCH was founded by Edosa Adams-Idode. And as a firm believer in voluntarism and as a firm believer in supporting the causes that uplift our community, because in that theme that you just mentioned, Madam Chair, I liken it to my belief in the power of community. Because when we look at women in a pressured world, we can't function without community. And when I talk about community, I'm not talking about the geographical location. So once again, back to the theme that you mentioned about women, I believe that women should really support each other in our different aspects of uplifting community. Because as we support each other, we're uplifting our community. When we're also uplifting not just our community, we're uplifting our generation. So when I look at the theme around the topic today, I'm looking at the power of community and how can we create meaningful relationship that is not just to have a discussion or a dialogue, but how can we influence changes in policies? How can we influence changes in institutions that have been in generations before we came in? And we have the power to do that. Let's be real. If I look at the World War I, World War II, there were men who sat on the table and made decisions about fighting each other, right? And creating these wars. I'm sure there were women on that table. Those wars may not have happened, right? So we talk about on women, you know, in our world today, in this pressured world today, we look at so many women, and for me, I have women that inspire me all the time, and I will share. Margaret Thatcher inspired me. I know she may not have a you know, a history that people may want to resonate with in terms of her policies, but I'm not looking at her policy. I'm looking at a woman of strength at the time where there were very few global women in that circle. So that's what I'm looking at. So let's not, you know, I'm trying to show my perspective of Margaret Thatcher, and I looked at her in a world of men, in a world where you know, women didn't have so much voices. Women are not in a place of governance as it were today. And so I look at her as a woman that you know, you can aspire to be anything you want to be, you know, as long as you're purposeful, you're intentional. And recently, I have always admired, there's a Prime Minister of Barbados, her name is Maya Motley, I think, Maya Motley. I strongly admire that woman. I could listen to her every day because she's an inspiring voice for women around the world. And of course, like I said earlier at the beginning, my mother is my great inspiration, because my mother, I've seen her throughout my life as a woman of strength, a businesswoman, a woman involved in politics, a woman of integrity. Those things kind of influence me in my walk. But most of all, I think the power of community really leads me to believe that if we do not, as a people and as a women of purpose, come together as a community, whether it's through CMP, whether it's through ACCH, whether it's through any other formidable organization, we need to come together and see how we can really build stronger ties together. And when we do that, our worth in the society will really be greater than what it is. So I want to stop there and just share those few thoughts about the topic. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. That was really very thorough. And I know you talked about, you know, all these global women, but some of the women I personally, Edosa Adams-Idode, you know, value and recognize is one of the people speaking right now. Edosa Adams-Idode, people that actually pull up the bootstrings and do the work in the community. People like Danye Meshlea, you know, people like Bayode Simpson, dropping that power, you know, whatever it is that we're doing in our sphere is what's really making the world go round. People like Shadi, they have so many people, so many women in CAP that do amazing things. Stella Great, Alima Ngaza, you know, Claire, and you know, so many others. So, I mean, what are some of the women that actually that you know, make your world go round? You can put them in the chat. It's so important to let all these women, and we again, like you said, we need to appreciate ourselves more. We need to support ourselves more, because we're the ones building, we're the builders, right? So, I mean, let's continue to recognize ourselves and value ourselves, because no small contribution goes unseen. Whether it's that woman that goes to the stream in the morning or that woman that goes to the farm. We're not going to the farm, but we're still doing those work. We're doing one thing or the other and supporting the community, even when it's not convenient. So thank you to all the amazing women and all the women on the line today. We truly appreciate all those little things that you do, because drops of water actually makes an ocean. So let's talk about self-leadership in a pressured world. What does self-leadership look like for you at home, at work, and online?
That's a very powerful, compact question. Self-leadership at home. Organizing your home is I think they say charity begins at home, which is love. Self-leadership at home means having a supportive, if you have a supportive spouse. I am lucky enough to have someone who's supportive at home with me. So when it comes to self-leadership, I just believe at home, you're looking at how you organize your home front. As women, yesterday, the speaker yesterday was talking about how women, we're always multitasking. I think it's so true. And it's part of our DNA, actually. Yeah, unlike men, we kind of multitask all the time. We can be sitting on this table and we're thinking of the next meal, the next whatever. So, you know, and for me, I think it's about balance, really. How do you balance all of this? Whether it's home, whether it's at work, and whether it's online, it's balance. And balance for me is critical. Balance means rest. Balance means knowing when to slow down. Balance means knowing when to take a break. And so, in terms of how to relatable to those topics at work, as you know from my bio, I don't just practice law. I actually do a lot of mentorship for young lawyers. I work with other law professional organizations in that aspect, and also trying to show that we are more visible in our community, because when you look at the tables around us, sometimes the visibility is very silent. And so the visibility means simply that we need to do a lot of more volunteering, a lot of more legwork, a lot of more negotiation and advocacy. So I have to be able to be very strategic in my advocacy so that I can balance myself, whether it's in work, whether it's at home, and whether it's even online. I don't have too much online presence, that's fine. But at the end of the day, the legwork that we do, for instance, I would say at home, I will add ACCH to my home, because the African Caribbean Council of Halting is an organization that, we're constantly working. We're constantly working for the community. We're constantly advocating and going to the schools to talk about, for instance, programs like the Power of Our Name, which is a response to cultural sensitive education. And that's a lot of legwork, a lot of leg room. And if you don't have a home front that is organized, where you're out of the house from morning till very late at night, it becomes problematic. So, and I also believe that it just also depends on the space that you're in. So if you're a young mother, for instance, you may not be able to do all of these things. It's okay. It's okay, because your priorities have to be set right. But if you're a mother who has older children who are independent or who are not at home, then that can give you some time to spend to do more community work. So I think in response to that question, Madam Moderator, I think it's all about balancing all of those three areas in a pressured world.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I will move on to the next question in a bit. So this talks about, thank you for talking about the heart of balancing, and of course the fact that most of us are in different stages in our lives. So doing the best we can based on where we are is very, very important. So the next question is about burnout recovery and sustainable success. If we don't balance, all the many things that have been thrown at us, there's the unfortunate outcome of getting burnout. So what does sustainable success look like? And how do we design life around it? Now you can use your experience, or just to advise every woman out there.
Thank you. So what is sustainable success? I've never really talked about my core value has been successful. I'm just being honest. Advocacy for me, it's a way of life, and my advocacy involves dealing with domestic violence, which I deal with every day. Women who are in a domestic violence situation or relationship, and advocating for them through the court system. It takes a lot of knowing meaning being able to be professionally alert and being able to have empathy, not sympathy, empathy, because you would hear real life horrific stories of domestic abuse that can stretch your imagination beyond your wildest dreams. And being able to know yourself, and this is where your faith, for me personally, my faith becomes really important in the aspect of my work, because you have to understand that when you're dealing with when you're dealing with family violence, I liken it to an onions. So you have an onions with different layers to it. And when you meet a victim or someone who has gone through domestic violence for the first time in an interview, you know, when you remove all the layers of the onions, all you have is just the stem. So this person is coming to you as a stem. And every part of who they are, their self-worth, their humanity, their dignity, their characteristics, all of the things that form who they are has been broken down. And so my role is not really to piece back the onions together, but fundamentally in advocating for them and in sharing an empathetic voice for them, they're able to sort of regain some of or part of who they used to be, right? My point is you're dealing with that on a daily basis, and I've been doing this for almost 2 decades. And to God be the glory, you find that you're not broken by that. So when they say broken people cannot heal broken people, right? You know, so you're not broken by that. You're not, and the only explanation I can give you for that is just my faith. My faith is the one that keeps me grounded, and I'm able to provide, sustainable legal advice. I'm able to uplift the woman to say, you're not stupid. Some people come to you and say, I was foolish, I'm this. I say, you're not. So I'm able to reverse those stereotypes that they may have. And that helps, because every time I deal with a broken person and I'm with them for 2 years, 3 years, you won't believe the first time I saw them and the next 2, 3 years, I'm seeing a different person, So to me, that is success. Let me put it that way, because that was your question. That is success, because I feel that I was placed in a position to be part of somebody's journey where they were going through the worst stage of their life. And I was placed in a position where I was able to help them heal to some extent and move on to the next level in their life. So that's really very important to me in terms of what success looks like. I believe that when a woman is strengthened, when a woman knows her worth, when I'm able to help a woman sustain her value to herself and to her community and to her children, then I think I've been successful in that aspect. Do I get burnt out? Yes, like everybody else, but my burnt out is not emotionally. My burnt out maybe is mentally and sometimes physically, because you're up maybe all night or whatever, just trying to create the best. And the way I respond to that burnt out is taking time off. So I take time off every now and then, and taking time off, it could be travel, sometimes, or it could be I just walk to the mall and I just walk around the mall. I don't buy anything, but I'm actually walking in the mall and I'm actually paying attention to people around me, because then it just makes you understand that in my world of family violence, there's a different world out there. People are doing so many other things, and I just allow myself breathe. So that's how I'm able to respond to being burnt out. And of course, having great friends. Some of them are here, and having a church family, which is the best part of the cake. It's somewhat like the icing on the cake, helps me a lot. But I think as a woman, we should not be, yesterday I heard the speaker saying, oh, when people tell her to do something, she runs. I'm not that kind of a person. I know my limit. I love community. We always want to push ourselves, but when I reach my limit, I just want to be able to take time off and unwind. Like I said, it could be, walking in the mall, or if you're too tired to walk, I just listen to praise and worship. I do that all the time anyways. But at the end of the day, I think as women, we need to understand that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't look after anybody else, bottom line. So it's not about, oh, I need to do the dishes, I need to do that. You know what? Just let it be. Take care of yourself, heal your mind, heal your body, heal your spirit, and then you can now be of usefulness to other people. or usefulness to your family or your neighbor. But if you don't take care of yourself, you have to be selfish with yourself. Actually, be selfish with yourself so that you can, give to others. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You unpacked a lot of things there. I heard holding on to your God, having people around you, understanding that in spite of whatever you're doing, there's so much more out there that you can take part of. Take time for yourself, breathe, go on vacation. Thank you so very much. And these themes are some of the themes that have been explored by other women. It means that if 2 people, 3 people are saying the same thing, it's because it's something that should be considered. So as women, we know we carry so much, we carry too much, and so understanding some of the ways to avoid burnout, or even when we do get there, how to get out of it is super important. Thank you so much for sharing. Now I'm going to mental health, identity, and what. What is one thing you will say no to so that you can say yes to your health?
That's a very pack-loaded question. What can you say no to when you say yes to your health? Anything that exacerbates you as a person, or anything that would affect your integrity as a person. Your integrity is, to me, my integrity is very important. And anything that would jeopardize that integrity, I'm going to have to say no without blinking. When it comes to mental health, I think it's relatable to knowing when to take a breather. As a woman, take a breather as a woman. So personally for me, I'm a basketball mom. I'm going to tell everybody that. I'm a basketball mom. And everybody that know me, I travel a lot. I travel all the time. And I travel, the traveling, it's, by road, by air, so, and it could take a lot out of you as a person, because you're constantly trying to support your children's careers, or you're supporting their, what the desire is. Because I believe, I think I look back at myself in hindsight, and I think maybe if my parents had pushed me more into my culinary skills, I would have been a chef. And so, my children love to play basketball, and they do it out of pleasure and out of purpose. And I support the career. So I push myself sometimes in that area, I must be honest, because I think it is burn out of my childhood experience, where I felt maybe I didn't get the booster in that aspect. But there's sometimes I just cannot drive that 2-3 hours journey. And if I can't, there's always an option. Life always has an option. Women, life always has an option. And I tell some women sometimes that I counsel and I talk to, I said, if you drop dead today, your children will be fine. You just know that they'll be fine. So you have to just take a step back, because you can't break yourself to say, well, I have to do. You don't have to. That word should not be in our vocabulary as women. I have to. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. There is always an option, women. Let's really sit back and ask yourself, do you really have to? Well, there's some things that are necessary in life, but there's some things that you don't really have to. So I think that would be my response. I ask myself, do I really have to do this? And then if I don't really have to do it, then I guess I would just like, okay, I'm fine. I'm fine with this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I like, I like what you said, that we shouldn't always say we have to do something. If we don't do it, life is not going to end. And you're right. If we leave the world today, our children will leave and life will continue. I always tell people that it's important for us to know when to push, when to pivot, and when to let go. It's so important. we're not, the superwoman or the superwoman that everybody wants us to be. It's so important for us to sit back and breathe. Just breathe. Thank you so much. Is there any practical tool that you would recommend people use? Because whether we like it or not, we can tell ourselves till kingdom come that we don't have to. That we always think we have to.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
So I live by a principle that I'm a human being. I'm only reaching for progress, not perfection. So that's number one. And number two, I also live by there's a saying that my father left in his will that life is not about reaching for the skies. Life is about trying. So when you try to do something and it doesn't work, it's okay. And so you're not reaching for the skies, as they would say, to say, I want to be successful. No, but you try. And I also understand that if you do things alone, you do so much little, you do so little. But if you do things together, we can achieve much. And then finally, I also believe that life is not a race for everybody to be won at the same time. We're all on our lane. I'm on my lane, you're on your lane. Whatever lane you are on, be happy, be grateful. As long as you're reaching for progress every day, not perfection, you're reaching for progress, you're on your lane, you're fine. And as long as we are consistent in our goals, and consistency for me could mean, and I'll show you an example, just a personal story about me. So in my practice, I had lawyers that worked for me, and the side back to that, when we talk about women in the workforce, women in leadership, sometimes women make too great of a sacrifice that they may regret. And I've seen some, and one example is Margaret Thatcher. That's what I learned from her story. She made a huge sacrifice, and the regret was her family. Her family, in terms of her relationship with her children, was not that great. But that was just me reviewing her story. And so if you, as a woman in leadership, you want to pursue your career, which is a great thing, you have to remember that in the pursuit of that career, some things have to give. Some things must always give. And so I have learned to understand the timing of what I need to pursue at a season in my life and the timing of what can wait at a season in my life. So I think those are the few tips I want to give to women.
I think you just quoted Ecclesiastes. There is a time and season for everything under the sun, right? And we know that. We just need reminders at times because we always feel, we have to do it all. No, we don't. The things that we can pause and say, you know what, maybe later or maybe never. And part of some of the things we can do, because we do have our children around us, is maybe even delegate to them, right? So thank you so much.
Let me just finish that thought. I'm sorry, because I was just mindful of the time. So when I was giving an example, so I had lawyers working for me, and I realized that made me spend more time outside my home. And because, you're in a busy practice and you're growing, and you obviously want to have a firm, a multi-disciplinary firm or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then it's just like, God told me, like, you know what, this is a choice that you're making. And the choice is either you continue this way and you lose your relationship with your family. When I mean lose, I mean, you're not spending quality time with them. You're not losing them. You're not spending quality time with them. Or you wait. And I made a decision 10 years ago to wait. And I said, I'd rather wait because I felt that I didn't want to look back at my life and say, I wish. No. I don't have any regrets. I don't wish. So for me, it was important to spend quality time And that quality time included traveling, included exploring, included going to the library, it included taking the train with the children as they were growing. And those things for me matter. And so that's why I talked about the season. That was my example, was my personal experience in considering, and this is just me, my experience. I'm as a business owner, you have the liberty to, your work time is different if you are employed, different if you're an employee. I get it. So a lot of us are employees, some of us are entrepreneurs. So there's a difference. But I think no matter what stage you are in your career and your profession, you have to be able to, tell yourself, is this time for me to start a business or branch out, or is it time for me to do what I've always wanted to do in terms of an idea that has been nurturing in your head? So you really have to not just pray about it, you have to be realistic about it, because you can't eat your cake and have it. That's just a simple truth about this popular saying, like if you want to be the best in what you are, some things have to give. That I know, it's some things have to give. So as women, those women who are housewives, oh my goodness, I raise my cap to you every day. Oh my goodness, it's the most difficult job ever. So difficult, I wouldn't lie. You have to be so, it's a busy lifestyle to be a housewife. And I think it's a very important role. If that's what gives you happiness and success, that's great. But some women may want more, and may want to do more and want to be entrepreneurs, or they might want to be in business, or they may want to be in leadership or in government. We're all on our lane. Everybody's on their lane. As long as the journey that you're going on, you're happy, there's purpose, there's meaning, and you can see the change you're impacting to other people, you're fine. That's it. You're fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What I get from that is that we should not live a life of regret, right? Do the best we can. If we choose our family, let's choose it. If we choose our career, choose it. If it has to be balanced, balance it well, so that we don't wish, later in life. Thank you so very much for that really interesting aspect of, how we can be practical in our world. So let's talk digital pressure, social media, and inner peace. How has social media changed women's mental health, confidence, and self-image? What are your thoughts around that?
Just give me a second. I need to plug my my computer. I just noticed that it's giving me the warning signal. Thank you. So how has social media changed? Oh my God, a lot, a whole lot. A whole lot. I'm in a whole lot in a positive way too. We live in a patriarchal society where there was a lot of male dominance or institutions of malehood, which is nothing wrong with that. But then with social media, you now find a lot of women in diverse areas of industry that is really admirable. You see a lot of women making more impact. And I believe that women have always made impact in all generations. They were not just visible. And that's what social media has brought to the media space, visibility for women across the globe, making huge impacts in various industries. And that's very admirable for me. And I see a woman succeeding, it gives me great joy and pleasure. I just feel that, that's something I can identify with, because I believe that as women, even though we're sometimes our greatest weakness, we're also our greatest strength. And I always look at the best in human beings, especially with women. I think that there's some things that we need to unlearn as women, and there's some things that we need to learn. In social media and AI, there's so much out there. I'm not 100% on social media because my work is more of grassroots, meaning I'm on the ground. But I do believe the importance of social media as well, because when we're talking about the power of community, which I said earlier on in my introduction, community is a global world. Community is not just your geographical location. Community is also your ability to share and connect with people that have the same values with you, that have the same core interests with you. And that can only be achieved widely with social media impact. So I hope I answered your question, but I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that we have more women in social media than ever. In terms of someone is making a comment on social media and negative comment, I mean, it speaks, I mean, every good thing has its bad side as well to it. So I always want to look at things the positive way in terms of what women are doing across the world. There's some values that are admirable, there's some values that are not admirable, but I want to focus on uplifting each other and uplifting us as a womanhood. I want to focus more on how we can, be more inspiring to each other as opposed to pulling each other down.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And, social media brings a boatload of different emotions to different people. What we're leveraging now is social media, right? Now we can connect with the entire world. Some people were talking to me about joining the French class and the Mandarin class from Nigeria, just because it's virtual. That would not have been possible without it. And it's true that, it may affect others. The impact may be more adverse than for others. And I feel that is where us as women come into play, because we're the nurturers, we're the mothers. We need to help our words, our children, to balance the usage of social media. God help us. God help us. Okay, so as we go on, I want to talk about disruption. Now, we talk about digital pressure, social media, and inner peace, but there's this AI disruption that's going on. So disruption, AI, and thriving through change. What is one bold step women can take this year to reclaim agency over their life, over their future? What do you think?
How women can
Reclaim.
How women can reclaim,
yes,
in a digital world,
agency over their life, over their future, based on the disruption that we're experiencing through AI and various changes that's just coming at us.
Some of the things that AI is doing is inevitable. I think AI has gone beyond our ability to police or manage. How can we reclaim that? I do not foresee policing AI. I do not foresee laws that can govern AI internationally that are enforceable. And so I think it's left for us as women to keep reshaping ourselves, to keep reclaiming ourselves by projecting what we want AI to project. That's a very short answer because it's a very deep-rooted issue and it's multifaceted. But in terms of digital technology, I think it's gone way beyond what anybody can control. Let me put it that way. And I know years back, I was in a forum on this issue and with the Law Society, and these were the concerns that were raised because we're entering an age where media and where media manipulation, media warfare, I'll call it media warfare, has taken a different life of its own. And so women should really be careful what they put out there to start with. You need to own your reputation, because if you own your reputation, it's highly unlikely that AI would alter that reputation. And I say this as in the banking world, I think, the moderator, you're a banker, where you have, so for instance, there's something that happens in your bank account. This is just a relatable example. And let's say in your banking history for the last 2-3 years, you've never banked in this particular fashion. I think the bank would understand that that's part of your reputation. So it's the same example I'm liking to digital AI. We need to shape our image. We need to reclaim what we feel it's our reputation so that AI does not distort it, right? So that's the best response to that question.
Thank you. Thank you for your perspective. And you're right. AI is untamable. It's out there. It's either we learn or I don't know. There's so many times I'll listen to a news and and I'll use AI to ask AI, is this deep fake or is this real? Because there's so many things going on out there. But thank you so much.
Well, you call it a disruption. and when you said, I think it's innovation, but it's the way this innovation is going, and it can go either way. It's a disruption because it's not the normal way of life anymore. It's changed. And that's why I started a disclosure clinic. Excuse me, because when Ontario moved from, in-person to digital online documentation for our court system, there are a lot of people that could not simply navigate the digital system. And that to me was a barrier to access to justice. And one of the ways I thought we could create a solution was to have the disclosure clinic, which was to help, especially people who cannot, maybe people who are not computer literate, and filing simple court forms, they could not. And so it's a disruption, as you said. That's my point. It's a disruption on our way of life, that we used to know.
Yeah, thank you so very much. You're right. It is an innovation, and it rubs off in different ways. So we're at that place where we would like to invite the participants to, ask questions, comment, whatever you want to. We're mostly women. So if you have any questions or any comment, please feel free, raise your hand, and let's get you to talk about your thoughts around all the various topics that we've talked about. So while we wait, I just want to read some of the comments I have on the chat. So Ms. initially early on, she said, I like the core value of yours, Ms. Edosa, of being successful, when you talked about successful. And she went on to say very deep, some of the things you were saying, that it's really deep. It takes bravery to say to oneself, not this. Yeah, you need to learn to say, not this. You need to learn to say no sometimes. Otherwise, burnout is inevitable. And of course, Ms. Rita Adams said, social media has more negative impact on the younger women. So, do we have anyone that would like to contribute to this conversation?
I'd like Mercy Uwaboy to say something about the Unshakable Women's Worth and the impact on social media, because I know she does a lot of work in Manitoba on that as well.
There you go. You've been volunteered.
and as well as Miss Melaine Hay.
Please take the stage. Mercy Wabo and Melaine A. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Miss Adams. I'm not quite sure, how to go about this. But I'm thinking that I know that social media is really like a bit disruptive, like the way you said it. It's also very innovative. Many people have they see the advantages and disadvantages. Even now, some people are taking people to court for the negative impacts it's having on their kids, especially young kids who are not so familiar on how to navigate that. You know, sometimes it's like freedom for them. And so sometimes they're not able to hold themselves. They're not mature enough. Let me use that word. They're not mature enough to understand boundaries. And so they end up getting into trouble. And so I know now they are trying to put policies in place to try to curb some of those things. So I'm hoping that soon those things will be in place and lots of younger audience can be protected. Like what you said throughout this program, I also try to live by 3 basic rules, and that is the airplane rule, which is me first. I tend to do things that would help me um, to be able to stand, because in law we say you can't put something on nothing and expect it to stand. If I'm not able to be firm or stand for myself, there's no way I can carry somebody else. So I try to take care of myself. I spend an hour every day at least watching a movie, and then just making sure that I'm breathing. And then second rule that I live by is the yellow tape rule, which is boundary setting. I ensure that there are certain areas in my life where I don't allow people tread, and I'm not sorry when I tell people no. I I am able to say stop and enough, so those kinds of things. And then when I see that that's not panning out, that's when my third rule comes in place, and that is the boomerang rule, where it's a return to sender. I don't mind I don't mind words when I tell people not today, and instead of me carrying on a stressor from someone, I return that stressor back to them. So it's almost like letting them taste their own medicine. So I think that's all I have for tonight, and thank you for allowing me to say something. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you so much. That's the first boomerang rule. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. I mean, we're learning a lot here. So, Mercy Hayes, you said?
Melaine Hay.
Or Melaine A.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, I'm just listening to everyone. I would go with talk about technology, AI, because I know I'm not a techie person, but I find once you get on that computer or your cell phone, it takes you away um, from a lot of things. You just get all wrapped up and tied up in it. And before you know it, you spend hours upon hours upon it and haven't done anything constructive for the day. Um, so technology is good and it's very, very bad. I see young people, they get a lot of anxiety from their cell phone. They can't go to bed without that. Um, as soon as they wake up, they're on the phone. They get in texts in the night. I mean, I used to have my phone beside me and just to wake me up to go to work. And every time that ding thing comes on, I jumped. So I find that I was getting a lot of anxiety. I shake a lot. So what I do, I take it and I put it in the bathroom. I actually turn my phone off. It just rings my alarm. So then I will get a better sleep. Um, I know it's Women's International Day of Women. For me, I've come a long way in life. Yes, I used to run and do things for everybody, burn myself out because that's just the person that I am. But I realized that as I get older, Actually, when COVID came, I kind of came out of my coma. I kind of started to have more self-love. And when I became 60, I'm totally in love with myself. I love myself and I respect myself. And that's where I am in my life now. I mean, I still love helping people, but sometimes, and as the foregone speaker said, you have to say no. Sometimes you have to say no because you're just gonna burn yourself out. And when you burn yourself out and you can't help yourself when you're sick, and sometimes nobody's there to help you, so you just have to have self-love is very, 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 very important. Self-love is very important. Love yourself, love you for who you are, love who God make you into. Don't try to want to be, as Miles Monroe said, don't go by the name brand because you're just wearing the name brand for that person. Just be who you want to be and let God do the rest for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate your contributions towards this conversation. We appreciate it. Thank you. Do we have anybody else that would like to add a word or two?
I'm calling on Bayode Simpson. I know you shared on Women's Day, and I'm sure there's something that you want to share with us as women, because we need to hear from each of us so that we can build each other up.
So just as she was one of the speakers, she was speaker on day 2. So if you would like to say something, Ms. Simpson, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I think
Good
a lot
evening.
has been said, and I find that we have like recurring themes, or we've had recurring themes over the last couple of days. I think that definitely, putting yourself first, wearing your oxygen mask, and also what I've heard over the last few days also has been around setting boundaries. In terms of, not taking on more than you can, and setting boundaries in terms of access and how people treat you and you treat them back. So I think that we've had a very rich conversation over the last couple of days. So yeah, I'm just taking it all in, and everything I shared on Monday still stands, and I'm looking forward to yes, we've talked about AI, but we talked about how we can have a forum for AI and really help other women learn how to use AI responsibly. So I think that I'll just put a slight nudge to Lady about pressure, but no pressure. And also what I'm, interested in hearing more around wealth is financial literacy and financial planning. So yeah, those are the two things that I'll say that I would love to see come out of this, of all of the time we've spent together in over a week. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Absolutely. And we will be calling on you to help us kind of frame what that AI learning for women will look like. And financial training, believe you me, we love it, because not only do we need to have an understanding of financial literacy, we also need to put a plan in place to make sure that when we do decide to leave the workforce, we're in a good place. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ms. Meshileya.
Wow. I'd like to add my thoughts on not letting AI steal our identity. I know that AI is here to stay. It appears AI is almost taking over. However, using AI to improve on what we do, or using AI to kind of let our creativity shine, is also a way of us not letting AI steal our identity, because AI is a machine. It is decoding that is making AI perform in the way it performs. So whatever app that we choose to use, whichever, if it's ChatGPT or Grok or whatever AI tool that we're using, we should also look at it from what do we want to use it for? How can we personalize it? So that way, even as we, because I write, and honestly, when I see some write-up or when AI was being introduced at work, I struggled because I was like, it's cheating. Why would you use AI? You know, I struggled a lot with it because I felt that allowing AI coming can even rob me of my ability to be creative in my imagination. Because when I write, I kind of get lost in it. It will just come and take over me like emotion. So, you know, allowing ourselves to showcase in the way we use AI is instrumental to even the powers that we can, you know, unlock difficulties or even, you know, influence other people through the use of AI. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you so very much. And that's really, really important because a lot of people have been talking about AI taking their jobs, right? But you know what we're saying is AI will take the job of people that did not leverage AI to improve whatever they're doing. The good news for people over, I don't know, maybe I'll say over 35 before the advent of technology and AI is that we have better prompts, right? We know our jobs. We've been writing before the advent of AI. Now we can write better with AI, leveraging the vast skills and expertise that we have. So we can make it better for us, but if we don't get to understand it, we may end up losing our jobs. So thank you for that. Do we have any other comments?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment.
Please
Good
go
evening.
ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rita. I really love the last comment you made about AI. Like, if we don't understand AI, we should be prepared to lose our jobs. That's our reality today. But however, I know I made a comment saying that, you know, at some point, I think AI would kind of make us lazy and might also make us lose the ability to even think for ourselves. Like in the recruitment process today, if I see a resume or a cover letter, within a second, I know this is AI writing it. And for me, on the receiving end, as a recruiter, if I see it, I just feel like I want to know this person. You're using a machine to speak, but I don't know you. You know, but if you look at most companies today, even the government agencies, they use these tools to kind of make the work a bit manageable, right? But I feel there's more negative side to this AI than the positive side going forward. That's my thinking because I was talking to, you know, at work, one of my bosses, and then she's a recruiter and she goes for, she's the interviewer to some people who want jobs. And she said, you know what? She said, I interviewed 10 people today and none of them, not even one of them didn't even score up to 50%. Why? All their resumes was lovely, nicely written, obviously by AI. But when it comes to physical presentation of their abilities, they cannot. So you see, AI is actually taking the essence of our being. That's how I see it. It's kind of scary because we really need to talk about the positive as well as the negative, because there is a negative part of AI that you need to recognize when you see it. And another aspect, so that's just on the recruits. Another aspect which is so important, especially for young girls, is body dysmorphia because of social media. It has a positive impact, but it's like a virus spreading in the world today, especially for young girls, because I think there's lack of mentorship about loving themselves, saying that they are beautiful just the way God created them. But the social media and the AI tools that people use, to change how they look, and they feel that, oh, because my waist is not a size 2, then maybe I have to do surgery. That's where body dysmorphia come, and the mental health aspect is also another. So you see, technology, AI is actually kind of taking away gradually the essence of who we are as human beings, first of all. And so we need to recognize that part, teach and educate our young girls, especially our young girls, about it's not what you see, that's actually the reality. And I love it when someone said she's a writer. It's very hard for it's a long time I actually heard someone say there's a writer, because everything, oh, just use the AI to, like, why? Right from the heart. AI cannot, make the grammar, so nice and lovely. As a matter of fact, for AI to even function, the people who make this programming, they are human beings. They are human beings. So why are we now taking away what the gift God has given us, and we now depend on it? I know government agencies are trying so hard not to be so dependent on AI. Most times people want just use the AI for maybe letters or, templates that they need to give out to the public to make it simple, and concise. But in real life, AI would not be helpful. I'm sorry, it's going to take, it's taking the essence from our children, especially our girls. Many of them don't know how to write. Many of them don't know how to even speak about their resume in interviews. It's a pandemic in a way, sort of. That's how I see it. And I just want to say, I really appreciate this kind of discussion. And and I think we need to have more of this. And I just got the invite this evening. I sent the invite, to some women that I know. And I think more of this kind of discussions should happen, because some people don't know how to navigate in terms of communicating to their daughters about use of technology. And we as parents also have a role to play. And some of us, we give our children these gadgets, and there's no limits to, like, okay, between this time and this time, this is how you're going to have to use the computer or your iPad. And they didn't buy it. The parents gave them to them. So we have to start from somewhere. We have a major role to play as women, especially to these young girls. We need more of this kind of discussion. We need more of this kind of invites. And I really, really love to hear from women who are very, very experienced, like Lady Abba and my sister Edosa. That's my sister. And even the writer. I really love people who write, because I feel for you to be a writer, you're a very intelligent person, because whatever you're writing is from the heart. And the use of AI, is there. We can't ignore it. It's there. Industries and companies are using it now, but people are losing their jobs. It's making life kind of simpler, but it's also causing something, and in the long run, is going to cause something very negative. This generation, all of you read books, you pass your exams. If you fail, you write it again. You didn't have a calculator to calculate and, to do your mathematics. You did it the way it is, the way you were taught. But now, many of these children these days, they can't do anything without using the computer. Is it really, how is humanity going to be in the next 50 years? I'm sorry, but Einstein says a time will come where technology will be so much that we'll have so many idiots. Those were his, I may not be quoting it in verbatim, but it's something, close to that. And it's true. We have so many children that they can't speak out, because, oh my God, I need to use my phone. How am I going to word this? You're writing an essay, use of AI. It's terrible. If I was a teacher, I think a lot of students would not pass, because I would know I'm sorry. A lot of them will not pass. But it's so painful that in interviews, people can't express themselves because they didn't write their resume. They depended on AI, but representation is poor. And some people don't know that's why they didn't get the job. It's like sometimes you're depending on AI, it's not really right. I want to tell you guys a story, by the way. I'm sorry I'm taking too long. There's one of my colleagues, she was going for a job interview, and they told her to talk about herself. Because she used AI, I've forgotten the tool now, it wasn't ChatGPT, to put it nicely on paper. She was reading it to them. She didn't get the job, and then she asked the recruiter. She wanted to know, what she was lacking, why she didn't get a job. They said it was very obvious you were using AI. They said your resume was written by AI. That was fine, but we wanted to really hear from you, to really know you, and then you talk about your experiences and your qualifications. But she didn't give them that, so they felt that she wasn't real, and that's why she didn't get a job. So in the next interview, she didn't use AI. She got a job. That's even for another position. So you see, there are people out there who just don't like this AI thing. Thank you very much.
That was really very, very passionate. Thank you so much. But I want to bust your bubble and share my perspective. And I also want to give everyone here, and I will start with you, Ms. Rita Adams, a challenge. So the bubble bust is, I know that, social media, AI is both innovative and disruptive in nature. But let's think of it this way. God has given these people the brain to do this thing. It's like saying, I don't want to say a doctor because. That's just the way I see it though. Learn it, get to understand it. Let there be a balance. There has to be a balance. Before AI came, our children did not know how to talk because the phone came and they were always on their phone. Now AI has just kind of exacerbated the situation more, right? So there's a lot of work that parents need to do to be able to help their youth to balance the use of all these innovative disruptions. Now, what is the challenge that I have? You said some of our youths, they're not proud of who they are. That's why they're doing all this. Thank God they're not doing so much BBL in Canada. They're doing it more in so many places. How about we women here? Because this video is going to be posted on YouTube online. How about we give a how do I put it? Like a push of confidence to them. I write too. I'm a writer. I love to write. How about we just all say a sentence to make them feel worthy? When we call all these women, we call them women of what? All women are women of what? Young, old, not so old. How about we just put a sentence out there to them, to the universe, to make them feel good? So, Miss Rita Adams, why don't you start us off? Say a sentence that will make a young woman feel awesome.
It is okay to make a mistake.
That is deep, short, and powerful. Thank you so much. So our speaker will be the last person to speak. Please, every woman, please try and say something positive to these young women out there listening to us today, or that will watch this video some other time. Miss Daniel Michelet, do you want to go next?
Keep giving. There's a lot of gain in it.
Thank you. Miss Baide Simpson?
I will tell them to believe in themselves. Believe in yourself.
Thank you. Believe in yourself. And there you go. Your daughter is saying, yes, I got to believe in myself. Ms. Melanie A., anything you'd like to tell the young women out there?
I would say, love yourself.
Love yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you. Miss Mercy Wabo?
You're worth it. Believe in yourself.
You're worth it. Believe in yourself. Thank you. Hudson? Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I would say identify what serves you and say yes to it again and again.
Thank you. Thank you. And Miss Rita Adams just stole my thunder, but I'm still gonna say it anyway. What I would say to every young woman out there, even people in my, my age group and older, you are enough. Shikena, you are enough. You don't need any dramatic things to make you beautiful. You're beautiful enough the way you are. And so to our speaker today, what would you say to the young women out there?
To the young women out there, I want to say that you're great. And your greatness is not measured by what others say about you, but by your compassion to others. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that's a wonderful way to round this up. Thank you to all the women. See, we not only made ourselves feel better, we made the next generation feel wonderful. So on that note, I would like to go ahead and do the vote of thanks. So thank you so much, Mr. Edosa Adams-Idode. It's truly, truly been an honor and a pleasure to have you join us today. Thank you for all your contributions. They were very insightful, and we're going backfield. I mean, from Sunday till today, it's been a wonderful journey indeed. We've learned a lot, and just so everybody know, this is going to be posted on our YouTube. Please subscribe to our newsletter so that you can get whatever activities that we have. And to every woman, every man that joined, thank you so much for joining. And thank you all for participating, because we can only build each other up. Our speaker said it, let's work together. Let's make life easier for each other to be the best version of ourselves. We truly appreciate you. Tomorrow we do have another event, and it's all about taxes. If you've not done your taxes, you want to join us to see how best you can, how you can maximize whatever return, to know the pros and the cons of where you need to know what's new, what's exciting around taxes. The laws is always changing, so you want to know the best way to file your tax. On that note, I just want to wish everybody a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Breathe, take care of yourself. Say no if you must. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CAP.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you, for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
And
Thanks
take
for
time and
joining.
rest.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.